Hope you all doing beautiful. This is a day that the Lord has made. I am rejoicing and I'm glad in it. I'm taking my daily walk, doing my daily walk here. And I was like, I'm passing by the train track. You see the train track? Let me see if I can push over here. This train track here, I am, it gets very loud. They have several stops here. It's a beautiful thing. I remember when they started building those stops, because the train track, the railings were always there. Um, but the community over here, this is a neighborhood where the community decided that they wanted to have a stop. That happened, I think it was like maybe, I would say maybe 20 years ago. They decided that, we need to have a stop in our community because this train will go through the community here, pass through the community and not stop. And they decided that, it's about time that we have our own stop here. And as you can see, there's a stop here, but there's also one not too far down the street here. I'm not going to say the name of the stop because I don't want to identify my location. But anyway, the reason I want to talk about this is because this train track, every time I'm passing by here, I feel like it's a tale of two cities. It has some good news and some bad news. The good news is when everybody got the stop there, and it was a great thing because I remember saying to myself, oh, that's excellent, that's awesome. Because I grew up in the neighborhood in the North Shore part of the state here, and where I lived, literally 10 minutes away from a train stop. So I remember how easy it was for me to get to and from activities in downtown, to and from work, to and from, I don't know, anything. Because of the train, I didn't need a car. I didn't have to have a car. Even as a teenager, even as a young adult, it was so convenient, you see. The convenience was excellent. So when I heard this was coming here and the one down the street, I was like, oh, that's amazing. That's excellent. That's a great thing, right? So this is like a overpass here, but the stop is like maybe, I would say maybe 200 feet away from here. So I was like, oh, that's excellent. That's amazing. But guess what happened though? When the train came through here, yes, it was amazing. It was excellent. People were able to get on the train to get to work, just like get to downtown, get to different parts of the city here very quickly. But it also brought gentrification. It brought displacement. I don't know if you are all familiar with gentrification and displacement. Basically, it's literally folks not being able to stay in their communities anymore because the cost of living got so expensive. The cost of living got so expensive. The apartments, the train, as soon as they open up that train stop, guess what? Apartments that were $700 now were $1,400. Apartments that were like houses that were like $150 now are being sold for $300,000. So the community had fought to get a train stop so that they could enjoy the opportunity to travel back and forth to work easier transportation, because before that train stop, folks had to take several buses to work if they needed to go to downtown. But now they have a train stop, and guess what? They were getting displaced. Many of them have gotten displaced out of the community and have had to move away, further away from the city. It was in the paper. We have a local paper here, and I remember the stories people were saying, like, community members were saying like how much they loved and how much they hated the fact that they had fought for the train stop. The very thing that they had fought for to keep in the community, to make the community better for them, was what was displacing them. There is another town not too far away from here. They too did the same thing because they're very close to the community, to Boston, to the area, and to downtown. And for some reason, they never got a train stop either. So they too, about 15 years ago, fought to get a stop, and the work had been done. I was part of that. A lot of work, a lot of many meetings, many gatherings, many fights to get that train stopped. And then guess what? The same very thing. It's like history repeating itself. Folks are getting displaced right now out of that community. Apartments are like $600-700 more than they were before, and yeah, community members are crying. They're upset. The same thing. People are saying like, I wish I had not fought to get this train in our community. So every time I see the train passing by, I'm happy because I know there are so many families, so many members, community members who are able to get on the train. Actually, the cost, it's a commuter rail, but the cost is the same as the metro or the T. It's very inexpensive. I get happy for them because I know they can get on and be able to get to work faster. But unfortunately, it's only the ones who've been able to stay, because the others who because of the train, many of them have been displaced. Instead of being here, they've had to go 40 minutes away, an hour away from this area here, because of the fact that this very train stop that they fought for has made it so much more expensive. And because of that, if you didn't have a home, you were priced out as a renter. And if you were a homeowner, because the prices are going up, taxes going up, many folks have had to sell because they were on fixed income and they couldn't afford the high prices and the high cost of maintaining a home, even if the house was. And some people got enticed into selling because of the fact that it was lucrative for them to sell, to move out of the community. So there are a number of reasons, but all of it because this train stop came through and really created the tales. I call it Charles Dickens, the tale of two cities, right? It was the best of time and the worst of time. So it's been the best of times for some people and the worst of time for others. And I would just say the key is, when you are in a community, it's very important to get involved. When you're fighting for one thing, you have to also think of externalities. They're like the other things that could come out of, or that could be that to come up as a result of what you're fighting for. I don't think a lot of the people, many of the organizers who were fighting to get this train stopped, I don't think they thought, I don't think they did, thought completely about what could resulted from them fighting for accessibility. You know, you have access, now all of a sudden you are dealing with displacement, you're dealing with gentrification, you're dealing with high cost of housing or high cost of living altogether. We live in an area here where it's already pricey, it's very expensive, and to have an apartment that used to be $700 now going for $2,300, that's how much it's become. In the last 15 years, apartments that were $700 a month are now going for $2,300, and they're telling you that's reasonable because there are some that are close to $3,000, all because of the improvements that the community done. Remember, when the community improves, you have investors who come in and say, oh, this is a nice improvement, thank you so much. Now we have the cash, we're gonna buy out everything that's around here, because now we can bring new people to the community who wants to have the accessibility as well. But they didn't work for it, you worked for it, and now all of a sudden the people who worked for the accessibility, they cannot get it. So I just wanted to show, this is what I was thinking about as I was coming through here. One of the things that I do when I'm taking my long walks, I get to think a lot about my community. I think I get to think a lot about what is it that I can do to make a difference. And that's how years ago I got involved in the displacement crisis as a housing advocate, to talk to people and let them know that they have rights, and they don't have to pick up and leave just because which new landlord comes to the community and and tells them that you don't belong here anymore because now it's more expensive. You have rights. There are ways for you to fight. And also the same elected officials that we petition to get the train stopped, we have to petition them so that they can think about the housing and other things. So we've been doing a lot of that in the community here because housing is, in my opinion, housing is a human right. Everybody should have the right for to have habitable and affordable housing. And when you have a situation where people are getting displaced in displaced out of their community that they know so well, definitely we have to stand up and do something about it. Because I believe that to whom much is given, much is required, and I'm required to be my brother's keeper. You know, we gotta be our brother's keeper. We have to be our sister's keeper. We have to lend a hand. So come out of your community. If you see things are happening and you don't like it, and you saw your neighbor that you had for years all of a sudden disappeared because you don't know what happened to them, most likely gentrification or high cost of housing displaced them. You gotta find out what is it that you can do in order for you to make it better for everybody and for yourself. So yeah, this is where we at right now. I just want to say God bless you. Let me turn this around. Yeah, God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight of faith. You know, as I said, we are my brother's keeper. I am my brother's keeper. We have to do something to help our community. And don't just be a bystander. Don't be somebody who just see things happening and don't make a difference. You gotta make a difference with people who are looking to make a difference. Collective power, collective effort is definitely the way to go. You cannot do it by yourself. If you try to do it by yourself, you're gonna get disappointed. But if you do it as a collective with other people, you definitely can make a difference. Just like these folks had fought as a collective to bring the stop in the community, they can all continue to fight to stay in the community as well. So God bless you. This is the day. Ooh, the sun is coming out. I'm rejoicing and I'm glad. I'm taking a break here and then I have to go back to work. Okay, talk to you later. God bless you.